Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Monika Zands. Monika is a life coach, relationship coach, and business consultant. Welcome to the show, Monika.
Thank you very much. Good to see you and love being here.
Likewise, it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit more about you and where you are from?
Well, I'm originally born and raised in San Francisco, but then I moved to Los Angeles when I went to UCLA for college, met my college sweetheart, had a tumultuous up and down relationship, and now 20 years later, we're married. 29 years we've been together, and we have 3 beautiful children. We've started incredible companies together, and we live a life of service.
I love it. Living a life of service. Absolutely amazing. Now, what inspired you to become a life coach?
Well, in my life, there was a lot of things in my life that I felt like were challenges. And from a very young age, I knew from the age of 4 that I was here to help people. My grandmother had cataracts and hearing aids. And so I thought from the young age of 4, I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to invent a laser and I'm going to fix her eyes and ears so she can live forever and hear and see everything that I say. And my heart was always open to connecting with people. And in my journey of life, I felt like very misunderstood in many times in my life. When I got to my mid-20s, there were moments where I just wasn't sure if I was meant to be on the planet anymore. And I saw that suffering and struggle wasn't just unique to me. There were so many students in college that I would have these conversations with. There were people in the work environment that felt slighted or not important or undervalued or not worthy. And I began to see kind of like this virus type thing that people were going through of from one person to the next. People had this unworthiness conversation. And I thought, I used to interview people. I had my own production company for almost 20 years, and I would interview people and I would ask them questions because I was truly and genuinely interested in who they were, what made them tick. And they were surprised that I cared. And that was a big eye-opener for me of, wow, if people feel in their life like there's no one that really hears them and cares, what if I made this a profession? What if I actually helped people in a way that they could talk about these things and feel valuable and important? And it was through a series of many educational experiences, programs. I got a master's in spiritual psychology. And then in 2002, I was hit by a truck in a crosswalk. And through that experience, when I survived that experience, I knew, number one, God had a plan for me. So I wasn't going to waste away my life wondering what I'm here for. And 2, I got really good at listening. And so becoming a life coach is really the art of listening, hearing what people are saying, and also hearing what is not being said underneath, and helping reflect that to people and asking them, is this the life that you really want? And if it's not, how would you like to be seen? How would you like to be honored, acknowledged, and cherished for your gifts?
Very powerful. Now, walk us through the moment after your accident where you experienced that aha moment.
So my accident happened, and the aha moment wasn't for months later when I was sitting in my bed. But basically, I was in the tunnel of light. I was kicked out of my body when the truck hit me. I never saw it coming. I was in the crosswalk, and it was a person that was turning onto the street. And they were about 35 miles an hour. So normally what happens in an accident like that is you go under the axle or through the windshield. But for some reason, angels grabbed me, pulled me up, and helped me really know that I was saved. And when I was seeing myself from above, the voice that I heard said, "What do you want?" And I didn't understand why I was being asked this question when I think back to the whole experience. But I was asked, what do I want? And I said, well, if I'm going to stay on this planet, I want to be a mother. And then the voice asked, are you sure? Yes, I'm absolutely sure. If I'm going to stay on this planet, the only thing that I want is to be a mother. And it asked again and again and again. And by the 5th time that it asked, are you sure? At that point, it was like, yes, I'm sure. And I don't know what else you need me to say. I want to be a mother. And with that, I was back in the ambulance, the oxygen mask, rushing to the hospital. So my recovery happened 4 months in my bed, looking out my window and starting off cursing God and being very angry and very resentful. Why am I still alive if I'm going to be in this kind of pain? And I was told by some of the specialists that saw me that you're never going to get to have children and they're not going to be viable pregnancies and so on. And I thought, this is not what I asked for. Like, what am I here? This is not what I asked for. This is not why I'm supposed to be here. And ultimately, what I came to learn many years later, but in that moment, I learned there is something greater calling to you if you simply trust and lean in and trust and lean in and hear the whisper. Hear the whisper. God is here whispering to me. Hear the whisper. I'm here and I'm going to show you the way. And so I learned how to surrender and really listen to the whisper. And as a result of that, I began to serve people and help people and listen to people and be hearing the whispers of what I was there to hold and guide them to. That I was not there to give advice. I was not there to tell people what to do. That was not my role. My role was to be a space of loving and a reflection, the best mirror I could possibly be, so people could see their own path. It wasn't my job to tell them what to do. It was their job to discover what there was. And all I was the guide, just as God was whispering into me. I was getting to whisper that message through me. And many years later, after working with client after client after client, there was a young man that I was working with. And he said, I feel like the greatest gift you've been for me is to reassure me that even though I didn't have a beautiful relationship with my own mother, you really have served the role of helping me heal that misunderstanding. And I'm so grateful to you. And I can never repay you for how kind and generous you've been in this work that we're doing. And it was in that moment that I realized and looked back over all the other clients I had been working with and thought, oh, that's what that was. I was not being asked, am I sure? Do I want to have my own children? I was being asked, are you willing to be charged with the responsibility of operating and holding the space of motherly love for clients and people and children of God on this planet that are seeking to find their voice, find their truth, find their gifts, and stand in the truth of who they are?
Amen. Very uplifting. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell us more about Mom Academy.
So Mom Academy was a program that I created because I had been coaching a business course for many years where I was working with kind of the top 1% of business owners, executives, CEOs, so on. And the Mom Academy, there were so many mompreneurs that I would be working with, and there's so many women. And the life of women was different when we would be doing the business classes. They would ask different questions. They would have different concerns. And I thought, wow, while my business class handles how to really grow and effectively be a leader and communicate and have the right mindset to grow a team, what serves moms to be able to grow who they are as mothers in business and who they are as mothers wondering whether they're good moms? And I myself had that question, like, how do I be a great mom? And what is a great mom anyway? So I crafted a class based on the Enneagram, which is a personality assessment profile, kind of like the Myers-Briggs or the Berkman, where it assesses what is your number, what is your way of relating to who you are so that you can understand you, and then what is your child's number so that you can best relate to them. And much like Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages, where you start to learn just because I have a love language doesn't mean the world around me has the same one. And people don't necessarily relate to me the way I relate to me. So how do I bridge the gap between me and how I like to be loved and related to and you? And the Enneagram gives you tools and how to do that and perception of ourselves and our children and helped really bridge that gap. So it not only helped moms in business, but it also helped moms in their family life.
Very powerful. I love it. Now, Monika, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
So for me, I always had this experience where your purpose was somewhere way out there in the distant world, trying to be discovered. And that no matter what you do, it's always a hand reach away, like somewhere out there, I'm going to awaken to this purpose. And that never sat with me well. I always felt like there's something off about that for me. So I began to inquire, like, who are you? Why are you here? And what are you doing about it? So who are you is not someday, once you have it all handled, who are you becoming? It's who are you right now? And then why are you here? What is your purpose? Is not someday, maybe when you've discovered who you are, you're going to now go do something great. It's what is the thing that everybody comes to you for? It's the first call you get from your best friend. It's the call you get when your mom is having a hard time. It's the call you get from your sister when she has everything going on and she's like, I just need your advice about this, or I need your reassurance, or I need your determination, or I need your creativity. It's that thing that people come to you for. I need that stroke of honesty, or I need that brilliance. And we each have it, but it's so innate to us, it's so instinctual to us that we undermine it. We give it not as much value as it has, and yet it's the diamond that we are inside. And so I began to say to people, find your diamond and then shine it out into the world, and now you'll be living a life on purpose, and then you'll inspire other people to find their diamond within. And then the third part of that is, and what are you doing about it? What's your meaningful contribution? What are you leaving behind as both your legacy and your dynasty? What is the thing you want to be remembered for, your dynasty? And what is the thing that you are crafting and creating that are going to bring people to do something because you left it for them to take on and run with it and make it their own? So that's the distinction that makes purpose so reachable and so present for people. And then they know the springboard of how to build a business around that, how to be a friend around that, how to have a communication about that, how to do a presentation around that.
I love it. And what gives you the most joy and happiness in your life?
This, connecting deeply with people intimately and getting to know who they are and what makes them tick and why life is important to them. Being able to understand children and what their dreams are and helping people never stop dreaming. And that deep connection. I get so much joy in the simplest moment where I share something with someone where either I walk away feeling like, wow, I'm so grateful that I learned that, or I received that gift or their love, or where they thank me because I've left them moved and different than the way that I found them. And those moments are priceless and precious. And to me, why we're here on the planet.
I love it. Thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast, Monika. Now, where can the audience find you?
So you can find me in my website, janamonika.com, Jan, Jan, and Monika, Monika.com. You can also find me in Instagram at Monika Zands. You can find me I have meditations and insight timer. So if you search up my name, I have some beautiful meditations that can guide you as an inner counselor or an inner child process, because here I am to serve. So whatever will uplift you and help you rise, that is my intention.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Monika at her Instagram. That's Monika Zands. And also her website is JANANDMONIKA.com. And Monika, thank you again for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast.
Gigi, thank you so much and have a blessed day.